It's the second hour, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for finding your way back to the radio station, the internet assembly, where smart people come to talk about health. Real health care, not disease management, health care. It's only a handful of physicians, regretfully, in the entire world. I would gainsay less than 300 in the entire world, licensed physicians who are actively engaged in a day-to-day practice of health care. There's a gigantic difference between health care and disease management, and regretfully, many of my naturopathic colleagues have fallen by the wayside. They've fallen into a camp of something called green allopathic medicine, green allopathy, which is basically where they're being taught and trained to use herbs and vitamins the same way that MDs use drugs to manage symptoms and to push biochemical pathways this way, that way, and the other. Completely misunderstanding the fundamental foundation philosophy of naturopathic medicine, that the body has intelligence, the body knows how to fix itself, and that the body wants to fix itself most of the time. So, I can arguably stand up on my podium in the town square and say, listen up, because there are only a handful of physicians in the world that actually know what to do to support and promote your body's ability to fix itself, and I'm one of them. Let's go to our old friend Alaric in Texas and see what's happening. Hey, Alaric, have you gotten a horse yet? Alaric?
No, you mean from the bitters?
No, I mean because you live in Texas. Doesn't everybody have a horse in Texas? That's what I was led to
believe. Too big for a horse.
So welcome back, Alaric. What's happening, man? What's the latest?
Well, I've been doing what you said. But if I don't walk at least 5 miles a day, my feet don't go down. I've been breathing.
Yeah, good.
I've been getting at least 50% of my meals have been fat.
Yeah.
Some fat. And I haven't taken the digestive enzymes, but I've been taking the lemon juice and the bitters and about 1 ounce or 2 ounces of water.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, good. So what I wanted 50% of your meals to be is protein.
Protein. Okay, fats and protein. Okay.
Okay, not fat,
I'm
protein.
Up to about 6 eggs a day.
Oh, you are? How much do you weigh?
Yeah. About 190 now.
Yeah, 6 eggs is perfect. Do you notice any negative reactions after about 30 minutes after you eat the eggs, like you get grumpy or moody or lack of energy?
No.
Okay, great. We had a very interesting call here about a week ago, maybe 2, with a woman who was having great success with longevity. She'd recovered from a number of things, and it was remarkable. But she was laboring with this kind of melancholy depression stuff. And I asked her what she ate, and she told me that she ate, a bunch of eggs a day, as we had advised her to do. And as it turns out, she had an allergy to eggs. And so when she ate eggs, they made her feel more melancholy and more depressed. And this is what will happen when you eat a lot of something that you're allergic to. But that's why I asked the question, just so the listening audience understands. So, are you salting your food so that it tastes good?
Big time.
Okay. And so tell me, Alaric, what, if anything, has improved in your body-mind since you've been on board with longevity?
Sexual drive.
Yeah, sex drive is increased or decreased? It's increased?
Increased, yes.
Okay, good. What else?
I can say I have more energy. I can get up earlier and I can stay longer.
That's great.
It's just the feet. It's the feet that's getting this big.
Well, you've had surgical trauma to the feet. How many of the toes did the MDs cut off?
All of them.
Yeah, all 10 toes they cut off, right?
No, just 5 on the right.
Just on the right, because of a diabetic neuropathy?
Not because of that. I got an infection in there, and they didn't know what to do. I mean, I figured out now what I could have done to save them, but they didn't know what they were doing. They just know slice and dice. So
yeah, slice and dice. So as far as water retention goes or swelling up, is the right foot worse than the left or not?
Yeah, but the left it fluctuates. There's days that it'll get skinny and I'll get a cramp. That's when I walk a lot.
Yeah.
There's days it'll get skinny and like I said, I'll cramp up. And then there are days that it'll just swell up, but it's not as bad as the right foot.
And when it swells up, is there a sensation of heat or a sensation of coldness in the foot?
I would say warmness. I would say warmness, warmness.
And do you feel inclined to put your foot in cold water in order to help it feel better or not so much?
No.
Okay, so there's a homeopathic medicine I'd like you to try to see if it can't give you a little bit of leverage with the foot while we're waiting for the medical nutrition to bring it all the way home, okay? Have something to write with?
Yep.
Okay. So there's two different homeopathic remedies I want you to try, and I want you to try them on, I want you to do one for 3 days, and if there's no change, I want you to do the other one for 3 days. The first one is called Glidden. It's L like Larry, E like Edward, D like David, U, M. L-E-D like David, U, M like Mary. Glidden.
Okay.
All right. The full name is Glidden palustre, but you don't need to worry about that. When you go to the homeopathic, store, the only medicine that has L-E-D-U-M in it is the one that I want you to get. And the second one is Apis. A like Apple, P like Peter, I, S like Sam. Apis. A-P-I-S. All right?
Got it.
I want you to get them both in the 200C or the 200CK strength. And I would like you to start with the Glidden and take 2 pellets 3 times a day for 3 days. 2 pellets orally. Yeah, orally 3 times a day for 3 days. And to take a homeopathic, you just pop 2 little pellets about the size of a BB. Pop them in your mouth and suck on them like a Tic Tac. 2 pellets 3 times a day for 3 days. Okay. Now, are you doing Ultimate Daily Capsules, Alaric?
Yes, I am, and I'm doing EFA, selenium, chromium.
So you're good. There's nothing else to do, man. You just got to trust me. You just got to maintain the discipline. Just maintain the discipline and see how it goes. Oftentimes at this stage of the game, when things get stuck, things have improved. Sex drive's better, energy's better, sleep's better, things are better, life is better. Have you lost any weight?
Not really, no.
Are you trying to, or are you good at 190?
No, I'm good. I think I'm all right with that.
Okay, so sometimes a homeopathic treatment or an herbal treatment or an acupuncture treatment at this stage of the game can help to kind of kick you over the fence with it. So if I were you, that's what I would do next.
Okay.
And it's protein, Alaric, that you want to be 50% on your plate, okay? So now I know you got the egg thing down. That's great. Are you just eat like 6 eggs in the morning, or do you 2, 2, and 2? Do you spread them out over the course of the day?
I get three a day. 3 in the morning with some beans, a little meat, and some corn tortillas, and then at nighttime I'll have another 3, the same, with some salad.
Okay, and do you do anything for lunch?
Lunch, sometimes I'll have beans, corn tortillas, and a salad.
Okay, so if you have beans, without any other protein source, right? Like no chicken, no fish, no meat, right? You gotta add rice to it. You gotta have rice and beans together is a perfect protein. Rice or beans separate, not so much. So the only thing you need to brighten up is lunchtime here, and just add some rice to the beans, and you're good to go. Okay, rice and beans together. Together is a perfect protein, yep.
So 2 pellets 3 times a day for 3 days, the first one, and the same thing, if that doesn't work or if that doesn't seem the swelling go down, then try the second one?
Correct, and then call me back and give me a report.
Got you, sir. Thank you very much.
All right, you're welcome, Alaric. I appreciate your trust. 2 minutes left in this segment. Let's go to Virginia and talk to Maureen about dialysis. Hey, Maureen, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Cleveland is the one that told me to call you.
Oh, my God. You know Cleveland?
Yeah, Cleveland's sitting right here with me.
I am so sorry to hear that you know Cleveland. Oh, my God. My heart goes right out to you. Cleveland is one of our favorite guys. We love Cleveland. He's the greatest, and he's doing a lot of good work down there in Virginia.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, thanks for calling. How can I help?
Well, my husband is 62 years old, and he's been paralyzed for 4 years from the chest down, and he's been taking dialysis for 4 years. But recently, it's come up that he has a lot of fluid in his lungs, and so they dialyzed him 6 days straight. But his blood pressure has been plummeting as low as 45/38.
Whew,
and now
man.
there's nothing else that they can do. And so even like I'm sitting in the room with him right now, his blood pressure today has been like 88/53. So he has, along with, so now they put him in hospice. They weaned him off this drug called Leverfed, and he couldn't stay on that. And he also has a trace of diabetes and 3 very serious pressure sores that they're treating.
Well, okay, so he's in the weeds. Now, you know, inquiring minds want to know, why on earth is he paralyzed? How did that happen?
He had a spinal infection.
And how did that happen?
We don't know. I was bringing him to the hospital between of chest pains and back pains. And
boy, that's very peculiar. All right, Maureen, we're up against the hard break. Stick around. I'll pick you up on the other side of the commercials, and we'll do what we can. I appreciate the call, and my regards go out to Cleveland. Stick around, folks. More to come. And we're back live. We're live. This is live as it gets. By the way, we don't screen calls ever. I have no idea what people are going to talk to me about. I have no idea what people are going to say, and that's how we like it best. Talking to Maureen in Virginia about her husband. So, Maureen, what's your husband's current body weight?
About 170.
Okay, and can he eat, or do they have him on a feeding tube?
He can eat. He has a feeding tube, but it's just there because they just didn't take it out this time when he came to the hospital.
Okay, so we have to intervene, and we have to intervene, aggressively here, right? So here's what I would recommend. Number one, Cleveland has access to a list of 10 foods that we don't want anybody to look at, let alone eat. So Cleveland, you, me, your husband, everybody in the world, honestly, needs to stop eating these 10 foods, needs to stop eating these 10 foods immediately, number one. Number two, your husband needs to fill his body's nutritional tank up with a lion's share of essential nutrients, nutrients that his kidneys need to function properly, nutrients that his immune system needs to function properly, nutrients that his heart and lungs need to function properly, et cetera, et cetera. Our basic recommendation here is that we give the body the raw materials that it needs to rally and fix itself, because from our point of view, the body all the time is trying to rally and fix itself. I mean, if you cut your hand, the body heals it all by itself, right? All you have to do is keep it clean, put a Band-Aid on it, the body will heal it. Well, this is what happens with anything. I don't care how big or bad the problem is, as long as it's not like a bullet in the arm or some traumatic big bad voodoo daddy like that. The body is attempting to optimize its structure and function all of the time, but it needs raw materials to do that. So my recommendation for your husband to support and promote the structure and function of his body as a whole for the next 90 days would be 2 healthy blood sugar packs. 2 healthy blood sugar packs. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium. That's 2 healthy blood sugar packs, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium, and 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules. 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules. plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. That's 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules per month, 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium per month, and 2 boxes of the Healthy Blood Sugar Pack per month. I'd like to see him do that, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. Cleveland will tell you how to get the stuff at the wholesale price, and he'll also tell you how to take it, give you advice about, how to dose it and how to give it to your husband so that it tastes good and that it goes down the hatch good. And call me back every 2 weeks, please, with an update, because we need to keep, pretty close attention to this. From my point of view, Maureen, I don't want to get too political here, but it's another failure of the medical system, right? I mean, you and your husband, your entire lives, have been paying medical insurance premiums to gain access to conventional medicine in the hope against hope that nothing goes bad. Something does go bad, and what do? They send him home and say, look, we can't help him. Well, thanks a lot. I want my damn money back. That's what I'd say. You can't help me. What the heck are you talking about, you can't help me? I've been paying insurance premiums my whole life because you told me when things got bad you'd be there for me, and now you're not there for me. And what's up with that? To cry and shame conventional medicine, there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, just like your husband all around the United States and Canada, who have been let down by conventional medicine. Let down and let down hard. It's time we got, active. And one of the best ways you can get active is to support your own health. Cleveland will tell you how to get the stuff and how to take it. You give me a call back every 2 weeks, and I'll look forward to it. Thanks so much for the call. The boards are all lit up today, ladies and gentlemen. The show is getting more and more and more popular. Well, why is that? Because it's hard to keep a bushel on the light. Eventually, the light's going to leak out. People are going to be attracted to it, like moths to a flame. But in this case, the light helps people. And that's how longevity moves. That's how longevity grooves. That's how Team Glidden grows. That's how every longevity downline grows. All we do is tell people the truth, point, have them try it themselves, and see what happens. The proof of the pudding's in the eating. We're going to go to Marshland, Oregon when we come back, so stick around. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Education goes on. That's why it's called the practice of medicine. That's why if you look up the term doctor, it translates in Latin as docere, which means teacher. If your doctor isn't studying, don't go to him. It's as simple as that. And it's interesting, right? Because years ago, that's how medicine in its really, when it was unadulterated by the pharmaceutical industry, what would happen is doctors would graduate from their respective medical schools, whether it was chiropractic or homeopathic or naturopathic or allopathic MD. They'd go about their clinical work, they'd go about their business, and they'd, write down treatments that they were doing, and then once a year they'd all gather together at a national convention and trade notes. Have you tried this for laryngitis? Have you done this for high blood pressure? Whatever. And in that way, the practice of medicine really actually did grow because doctors were concerned with things that really worked clinically. Not so much are we concerned with things that work clinically. Well, naturopaths are. I am. But your MD isn't. Your MD is concerned about the latest drug that the pharmaceutical rep told them about because the doctor is so overwhelmed with their workload. How can you possibly hope to get anything done? How can you possibly hope to draw anything of any substance whatsoever by spending 5 minutes with a patient? How can you possibly hope to know anything about the inner workings of the man, the inner workings of the woman, the inner workings of the child, the inner workings of the disease process? MDs do not treat people. They treat the results of disease. For goodness sake, the MD doesn't even need to see the patient. They don't. All they need to know is, the signs and symptoms. And, what does the blood work look like? They have the nurse do all the heavy lifting. Because the doctor doesn't treat the person. The doctor treats the result of the disease. There's a gigantic difference between the two. And if people just understood this, if people collectively around the world understood this, understood the way that MDs are trained and their understanding about the pathophysiology of the body, the disease process, and the body's ability or lack thereof to fix itself from the MD's point of view, people would be horrified and nobody would go to them unless they were bleeding to death. But when this is our thing, and this is why, this is my motto, fire your MD now. It's not because we hate MDs. It's not because MDs are evil. It's because the therapeutics that MDs are trained in are ineffective for chronic disease, completely ineffective, dangerous, and expensive. I mean, you know, if there was a priest in your town who was having sex with children, you would say something about it, right? Because, you know, the results of the behavior are important. Well, the results of the behavior of MDs are important to talk about. You can love the MD, but hate the therapeutic, and that's what you should do. I'm not saying fire your MD because we hate MDs. I'm saying fire your MD because their therapeutics don't work. And it's that simple. But people have been so culturally conditioned to believe that the MD is king, that phrase has a certain amount of shock value to it, right? Which is why we do it, to get people to think, well, why does Dr. Glidden want me to fire my MD? What's he got against MDs? I don't have anything against MDs. When it comes to surgery, when it comes to trauma, which is their domain, which is their wheelhouse, I have everything against their therapeutics. And, you know, quite frankly, everything that I and my colleagues do is science-based and clinically verified, so we know about it. It's not like this is hidden information. Why don't they know about it? Aren't they supposed to be the purveyors of all things medical? They are. Look, if you think 9/11 was an inside job, I couldn't agree more. I'm convinced 9/11 was an inside job. But what the heck can you do about it? What can you do about it? Nothing. You know, except educate yourself about how it all went down so that the next time it happens you can be a little more prepared. But still, what are you going to be able to do about it? Nothing. When it comes to your health, there's everything that you can do about it. You know, I'm not sure that the MDs are smart enough to have set this whole thing up as a giant conspiracy. I think it just rolled out as a big juggernaut. I think the pharmaceutical industry got the upper hand in the marketplace in the early 1920s after the Flexner Report. And then it's just become a runaway train since then. The whole thing has been fueled by money, and people just believe that the MDs are in top place because their stuff must be better. Well, the MDs aren't in top place because their stuff is better. They're in top place because of financial and political coalitions that were built at the turn of the century that nobody knows about anymore, nobody talks about anymore, nobody educates anybody about anymore. Want to read a great book? Rockefeller Medicine Man, by E. Richard Brown. Rockefeller Medicine Men, I think, by E. Richard Brown. It'll blow your mind. But I don't think the MDs were smart enough to have orchestrated this whole thing. You know, it's kind of become a conspiracy. Well, it's become a monopoly in spite of itself. It's become a monopoly in spite of itself. But it's a monopoly, nonetheless. And, you know, maybe it's a conspiracy. I don't know. Maybe it's just an evolutionary, thing that happened because of money and greed and pharmaceutical power. The fact of the matter is that you can't do anything about 9/11, but there's a lot that you can do right now. Because there isn't any law that's passed yet that says you can't take your vitamins, although in Europe that's the way that it is. You can't get a nutritional supplement that's potent of any real therapeutic value unless you go through an MD. Did you know that? There's a law in Europe called Codex Alimentarius, which dictates the amounts of vitamins that are available over the counter, and they're pathetic. You can't get a therapeutic dose of a nutritional supplement over the counter in Europe. You can't. You need a prescription to do it. But you don't need that in Canada. You don't need that in the United States. And you can get longevity nutritional supplements sent to you individually anywhere in the world. So you can't do anything about the conspiracies in the world, unless you want to become the next James Bond. Go for it. Didn't work out too well for Snowden, did it? It's a problem, right? But when it comes to this medical stuff, whether it's a conspiracy or not, there's everything that you can do. There's everything that you can do. Because you can stop eating the 10 bad foods. And you can give your body the 90 essential nutrients that it needs every day. You can support and promote your body's ability to fix itself. You can do the proper breathing techniques. You can do the proper exercise. You can take the proper supplements for your body weight. You can educate yourself about the reason why you're sick and get on board with science-based, clinically verified therapeutics developed and delivered by licensed physicians trained in the holistic method. And get the hell out of your health hole. You can do that. And you need to do that. Because if you're just thinking that you've got the good gene and that you're going to, dodge that bullet, well, I've got a bridge for sale. It's only a matter of time until something in your body breaks unless you support and promote your body's ability to fix itself with nutrients. And it is impossible for you to get all the nutrients your body needs just from eating. You can't do it. You can't do it. It's a fool's errand to even try. Let's go to Oregon now and talk to Marshall. Marshall, I'm spouting off like, I don't know, like what. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now and let you do the talking. Thanks for the call. You are live.
Thank you. I have a friend that has had a problem the last 4 or 5 years, symptoms anyway, of no taste and no smell, or very rarely have the ability to taste or smell. And I also, in discussions with him, it would appear that he's probably got a mild to moderate gluten intolerance. He's in his late 40s. He had a blood test for just general checkup here recently, and the doctor says, well, your blood test shows everything normal.
I know, don't you hate that? Yeah, so it's got to be in your head. I've had patients, and when I've been in private practice, they've come to me with similar sets of symptoms, like strong and persistent symptoms, right? Strong and persistent symptoms. They go to like 4 different doctors, 1 GP, and then 3 different specialists, right? Nobody can find anything wrong. Oh, your blood work's normal. Oh, your x-ray's normal. Oh, everything's normal. Strong and persistent symptoms, but everything's wrong. So you know who the next person they're referred to is? The psychiatrist. Because the MD can't possibly conceptualize that the problem lies in their domain. The problem lies in their understanding of the pathophysiology of the human body. Their hubris is legendary. So rather than look to their own house and try to figure out their own shortcomings, and why can't I get to the root of, why can't I figure out what's bothering this person? They think the person's making it all up, and it's all in their head, because we can't find anything, so you need to see the psychiatrist. And that's a problem. And that happens all the time here. And that is, in fact, a big bad voodoo daddy. So lack of smell and lack of taste from a medical nutrition point of view can be as simple a thing as a zinc deficiency. It can be as simple a thing as a zinc deficiency, or as complicated a thing as osteoporosis of the skull. Right? There are 10 little nerves that come out of the brain. They're called the cranial nerves. And they go through the skull to get to your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and throat, etc. All the other nerves in your body come out of the spinal cord, right? But there's 10 nerves called the cranial nerves that come directly off of the brain. But to get to your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and throat and everything, they need to go through the skull. And so the body has built tunnels in the skull. The body has built tunnels in the skull. Now, when you're healthy, and your skeleton, your skull in this case, has all of the structural integrity that it needs, has all of the minerals that it needs to have structural integrity, the tunnel in the skull is wide open. But when the skull starts, and there's a nerve inside it, right, and everything is good. But when the skull starts to run out of nutrients, the tunnel starts to collapse. Now, the body has wisdom. The body knows that if that continues, you're going to go deaf, dumb, and blind. And the body doesn't want that to happen. So what does the body do? Inside the tunnel, it puts connective tissue support. So it clogs the tunnel with connective tissue to keep you from going deaf, dumb, or blind. But remember, the tunnel should be wide open. Now it's got crap in it. And the crap rubs up against the nerve. And if it's the nerve that goes to your middle ear, your inner ear, you get ringing in the ears. If it goes to the inner ear, you get whirling vertigo. If it goes to your tongue, you get all kinds of funky taste sensations or no taste. If it goes to your nose, you start smelling things that aren't there, or you don't have any smell at all. If it goes to your eye, you get a lazy eye. If it goes to your facial muscles, you get Bell's palsy. If it goes to your vocal cords, you get laryngitis. It's osteoporosis of the skull. On a bad day, on a good day, it's a simple zinc deficiency. So the recommendation...
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
He does have chronic, constant sinus nasal congestion. So that helps narrow down a little bit.
So that would be a different arm of the octopus, right? So in that case, the most common things that mess up the sinuses are lack of hydration and lack of mucous membrane raw materials. So the first thing that we think about with chronic sinus stuff is dehydration and not enough essential fatty acids, which, is a nutrient deficiency in and of itself, but it's different. An EFA deficiency is different than a mineral deficiency, but it doesn't matter because what we do is holistic. We've got them covered either way, so stick around with me, Marshall. I'll tell you what to do when we get back. Appreciate you. At the University of Manitoba in Canada, the Richardson Center for Functional Foods and Nutraceuticals did a research study on the effectiveness of the longevity nutritional products, and the lead researcher, Dr. Peter Jones, Ph.D., will be joining us a week from today, God willing, in the Creek Don't Rise to discuss the results. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Knowledge is power. And if anybody tells you, that medical nutrition hasn't been researched, they're lying, or they're stupid, or both. Let's go back to Marshall in Oregon. Marshall, are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so here's what we do. Number one, eliminate the 10 bad foods. Everybody does that, and you knew that. Number two, he probably doesn't need the CM cream, which is part of the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, so we can make our own Healthy Bone and Joint Pack up, and here's how I would do it. I would do one bottle of Beyond Tangy 2.0, one Beyond Tangy 2.0, one bottle of Beyond Osteo FX Liquid Calcium, one Beyond Tangy 2.0, one Beyond Osteo Liquid Calcium, one EFA at the 180 count, one EFA at the 180 count, and two liquid glucogel plus, two liquid glucogel plus per 100 pounds of body weight per month. That's how I would do it. I'd have him do that for 90 days and look to see whether or not he gets any purchase on it. But remember, right, because this is a holistic phenomenon, and what we do is boilerplate foundation medical nutrition for the masses, he, you, me, and everybody else who gives longevity a ride needs to be mindful of everything, right? Mood, energy, sleep, appetite, sex drive, weight, everything. All the middly-piddly little aches and pains, right? Everything. Because in the first 90 days, we expect a number of different things to be brightening up here while we're waiting for the chief complaint to get traction. And this is how you know that a holistic medical therapeutic is effective. And I don't care if it's an acupuncture treatment, a homeopathic treatment, a herbal treatment, or whatever, because it's affecting everything, right? And so we look to see how this therapeutic intervention affects people across the board. And if we get a strong, measurable, noticeable, positive change anywhere in the first couple of months, then we just maintain the discipline. We just ride the horse until it takes us as far as it's going to. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes. Could you contrast the liquid glucogel versus the capsule version, which I personally use myself?
Okay, well, I could, and really, there is a difference. The main therapeutic difference is that in the liquid, there isn't gelatin. And in the capsules, there's gelatin. There's a big difference. The capsules have gelatin, and this gives the capsules a little bit of a leading edge. But the capsules are harder for a lot of people to digest and absorb. Not because there's anything wrong with the capsule, but because most people's digestive tracts are messed up. And it's 1,000 times easier to digest and absorb a liquid supplement than it is anything in a capsule. So if you're dealing with a joint and ligament issue yourself and you're doing longevity, for 30 days, I would do an experiment and switch. So if you're taking the capsules, I would switch to the liquid for 30 days and see if you notice a difference, and vice versa. And this is one of the interesting things about the holistic medical nutrition intervention, because I've had some people that they just swear by the liquid glucogel, and that really made all the difference for them. And I've had some people that swear by the capsules, and that's made all the difference for them. I have some people that love the powdered calcium OsteoFX, and I have some people that they take that and they develop calcium deficiency illnesses. So to a certain extent, we have to get you in the right ballpark, right? We have to get people in the right ballpark. But then it's up to you to experiment with different bats, right, different gloves, to complete the male sports metaphor, to see for you which produces the most remarkable results. Now, in a perfect world with a perfect digestive tract, it would be the capsules all the way. But because we don't live in a perfect world, we have to amend ourselves appropriately. We're all out of time, Marshall. I appreciate you very much. Keep up the good work in Oregon. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have an extra live chat tonight. It's at 8 o'clock Central Time. It's an extra added-on live chat tonight, 8 o'clock Central Time. This is not a regularly scheduled event for insiders and their guests. Live chat tonight, 8 p.m. Central Time. Check it out, drglidden.com. God willing and the creek don't rise. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, live long and prosper.